Hey everyone, this is Jebro, and this is a Guild Wars 2 Scrapper build video for Conquest in Guild Wars 2 PvP for the Engineer. Obviously, Scrapper is an elite specialization. So if you were wondering where I've been and what I'm doing, I am on twitch.tv/JebroUnity pretty much nearly every day, 6 days a week. It's not every day, but, you know, it's still quite a lot. Sometimes the day shift and an evening shift as well. Stream Guild Wars 2 sometimes, not as much as I used to. It's mainly, so we've got some Elder Scrolls, we've got some Destiny 2, Red Dead Redemption 2, a lot of solo player games as well as Smash, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which we're getting into as a community quite massively at the moment, especially just generally as a community, playing community games, just having a laugh. We did it we're probably going to do it every Friday, actually. It's been an actual really, really good time so far. Just fun, nothing crazy competitive at the moment, just enjoying ourselves, and I'm trying to learn the game as well. And just enhancing my skills, commentating, hosting different things, doing some VR recording. I'm quite busy with what I'm doing. Obviously, I'm still here in America. And yeah, having a good time. I hope you're good, you're well. Come and join our Discord if you would like to. And if you do want to support the channel in any way, shape or form, like chucking a like, or also come and join our Discord, subscribing on Twitch or whatever, you are feel free to do so. But otherwise, I'm just glad that you're here watching this video right now. So there is gameplay on the channel as well, previously released video of me playing this build, and people asked me, what is the build? It's not too difficult to imagine what the build is. It's, you know, hammer, it's got elixir, as you can see most of it on the screen, obviously, and then you've got obviously the traits, which is going to be inventions, alchemy, and scrapper. And sigil will be sigil of enhancement and revocation. Now, don't forget, in this build you've got a hammer. You're not switching between kits. You might normally have been switching between like elixir gun and hammer more often than not in previous builds, but we're not doing that because it's a little bit more damage orientated. We're going for a little bit more damage. You've got survival within your elixirs for yourself. This is very much, you can be in a team fight, you can be on a node. There's a lot of words going around like skirmisher and other things like this nowadays as well. Guild Wars 2, I still don't believe has defined roles for in terms of these phrases that have been mixed up. Put up into the mix, because a Mirage is a very, very good and excellent 1v1 on a far node or on a close node. But it's also a good team fighter. It can disperse a lot of conditions. It can give out, you know, distortion, which can help to res, which can help to, you know, defeat targets as well. So they've got like a good solid role, but then, you know, they can perform elsewhere, and Scrapper is kind of an all-rounder. It can play in 1v1 situation, it can play in 2v2, it can play in a team fight. You know, it's got good res capability, it's got good downing capability, it's got AoE cleave, it's got, you know, a lot that can be very beneficial for the team. Obviously, for something like a Spellbreaker, definitely more defined role of playing on the point and just, you know, dueling basically for that capture point as well. So what else are we doing? What's going on with this build? Well, Sigil of Enhancement, like I said, we're not weapon swapping much. So deal 0.5% extra damage per boon on yourself. As you see through the elixirs, you get a lot of boons, as well as through the build as well. And playing an engineer, if you played it before, you get a lot of boons kind of passively, just through getting hit, through doing damage, and just, you know, kind of playing the game half the time. You get so many boons just from being present in the world. But not really, obviously. That's just a joke. Calm down. A Sigil of Revocation. On hit, remove a boon. Again, you can't weapon swap, so you don't want to have any weapon swap runes in this build, really, in my opinion. It's not. There's just no point. And then you've got Rune of the Herald, which is going to give you toughness and boon duration, which is going to help with this Sigil of Enhancement. Obviously, giving you that the extra might you get from elixirs and whatnot, and all the boons is going to give you more duration on that. And obviously toughness is going to be good versus those power builds. And then you've got the extra stack of the extra time stack, or the extra amount of time that's stacked on top of protection, which you get elsewhere when you use a heal skill, which is on the sixth stat there as well. Demolish Amulet is going to give you power, precision, ferocity, and toughness versus those power builds. Remember, the only thing that is an issue in this build is the fact that you have 16k HP. There is another possibility that you can go for Rune of Sanctuary here as well, which is very good. Where's Sanctuary gone? I am being 100% blind. There it is. Which is going to give you your health. It's going to give you less toughness. It's going to give you boon duration as well. But it does give you barrier and health equal to 20... Sorry, a barrier with health equal to 20% of any heals you receive. Feels? Wow, that's a new one. Could be quite good, you know. It's up to you. Whatever way you want to kind of phrase that. Anyway, very, very viable option going for Sanctuary as well. But I do go for Herald myself, mainly because of the extra protection. And also, you get toughness. So, you know, it depends. If you want to go for extra vitality, you could go for Sanctuary. If you want to get that barrier as well, that's nice. But I go for a little bit more protection to, you know, take away a little bit more of that damage that's incoming in the first place. So I don't have to worry about my HP as much. But it can be a problem sometimes. But you have a lot of evades. You have a lot of defensive utilities available to you, which we're going to talk about now as well. So Sigil of Revocation again, on hit, remove a boon. It's not weapon swapping. Let's go through the builds. So Inventions, Alchemy, and Scrapper. Of course, you need Alchemy really for your elixirs. You've got Elixir B, which gives you a ton of boons, as well as the Might stacking, extra Might of 2 there at the bottom, which comes from HGH, which go for in a moment. Elixir U is going to give you quickness, stability, and vigor, and then it gives you extra Might because it's an elixir. Thumper Turret is going to knock up your opponents when you put that down. Of course, that overcharges immediately. Then you normally pick this up, or you blast it to combine with a heal or another field. And then you get Elixir X, which is going to give you Tornado at Rampage. Half the time you want Rampage, but Tornado is very good as well for immediate CC. You want to come into this straight. If you get Tornado, you want to get your CC off straight away and pretty much come back out of it using the skill again. Otherwise, Rampage, you'll normally be using this to advance on targets and kill them. For AoE stuns, for single target interrupts, for a lot of damage just through basic attacking through your one skill. Loads of interrupts on that elixir as well. This is going to be a lot. This is going to be a lot. This is going to be a lot about your situation at the time. You have to make sure you are using this ability at the right time. I see many people using Elixir X way too early, way too late. You can use it to get out as well. Don't forget, it gives you extra HP. I'm not going to get it, am I? I'm at 35k HP, so it increases your HP. So if you're low and you need to get away, you know, you can pop this. It's going to give you maybe another 1 or 2k HP. Use the third skill. You can also use the fifth skill as well to jump and leap further away. It's very good to even just disengage. And already, when you've come out of it, it's ticking back down and you've got about 40 seconds left. This cooldown is ridiculously low with HGH as well, and duration is increased. So don't forget that. When it's on off cooldown, use it. And you will see even in my own gameplay video that I don't use it enough. It becomes available very, very quickly. So you can use it more often than you think you probably could, actually. And also you do have Toss Elixir X. Using that in the right situation can save the world. Literally can save games. This is, I mean, I remember when Chafe was playing this on Engineer back in like Hot Meta versus Reaper versus, you know, other transforming classes. Such a good utility. Unbelievable. Big cooldown. But you want to be using this sparingly if you can. Well, when I say sparingly, I mean in the best situation. Because if you waste it, that's a minute and a half plus cooldown. 3 people turned into a Moa for 3.5 seconds. Very, very, very beneficial. Especially, you know, if you do have an ally that is down, stated, and they have not already gone for the spike on their body, you can put this on them and they won't be able to actually press F or press whatever key they are using to finish them off. They're going to have to, you know, run about for a bit. Whereas if they've already started the spike and they've already started the downing process, there'll be a Moa while they're doing it. So remember, you don't want to use it during that, you want to use it before, so you can make sure you can pop off your function gyro and maybe get the res and whatnot, which you'll see in the video. Hopefully, I think there's a bit of footage of that. I'll stop waffling. Anyway, cleansing synergy, obviously you get a little bit of condition removal. Using heal from your heal skill. Automated medical response is very, very good. 25% HP, you get your heal back. This time, the cooldown has been extended massively. I don't think it was. I might have been 60 seconds like back in the day, but it was definitely 90, and it went up to 120. Make sure that if your HP does go below 25%, does go close to 25%, make sure you're definitely using your heal, because you're going to get it back and you're going to easily get back up to 100% quite quickly. But make sure, otherwise you're going to pretty much be wasting that burst of heal that you're going to get. So you get your heal back, because you might have poison on you as well, and you just need to use it to get rid of that, and then your next heal is going to be the heal that's really going to help you out. So be very wary about where your health pool is. Try and remember, maybe how long ago you used it as well, because obviously that is a big cooldown now, 2 minutes. Reconstruction enclosure, so grant protection to nearby allies when you use a heal skill. Now this isn't just to other people, this is to yourself as well. This will come up very, very shortly. So obviously minus 33% damage, incoming damage to yourself for 3¼ seconds. Experimental turrets is very, very awesome. If you put your healing turret down, you get 4 seconds of vigor. If you put your thumper turret down, you get 4 seconds of protection, which is very, very important, as you will find out as we go further on in this build. And you also get the bubble. The bubble is so important. Anyone that has projectiles versus this hates it, because I've got a dome. Here, I get protection, I've got vigor, I've got regeneration, I've also got a dome, I've also got a heal that I can blast. It's not down for very long, but it's very, very good, especially if you see like a ranger coming out and he's using his second ability on his longbow. You can pop that down, hopefully try and evade it. There you go. And through that channel, he's going to hit himself a little bit, and for a ton of damage. And it puts him off, makes him think. Because a lot of people forget that there's a lot of reflects in this game. Things like your electro whirl as well is going to reflect those missiles coming in towards you. Things like the turret, which is going to be reflecting those projectiles that are coming into you. Dragon hunters, soul beasts that are using bow, dead eyes, kill shot warriors, whatever. Not necessarily even kill shot, because it's just spell breakers are using that, and it's just there is a lot of projectile orientated stuff going on at the moment. Staff from a necro, no, it's not that big. Staff still from a mesmer or anything else. Pistol as well, which is used by mesmers. Pistols by thieves. You get the gist. Projectiles, all right. That's what I'm trying to say. Energy amplifier. Your healing power is increased while you have regeneration, so plus 20 to 50. Anti-corrosion plate, and this is an important one here. And it is regarding when you grant protection to an ally or yourself, you cleanse conditions from them and also yourself as well. That's one condition removed. Now we obviously have protection coming from your heal skill, and we do have protection coming from your thumper turret. Obviously that adds time as well to your protection. Now you've got a lot of protection from both of those, because not only are you getting protection from your healing turret and your thumper turret, but you're also getting protection from your rune of the herald. So when you apply that protection, you are going to be able to remove conditions, which is lovely, isn't it? Now, and it will extend the time, so that's always very, very useful and very, very good, because conditions are one of the things that engineers have a lot of problems with. Not fun times indeed. Oh damn it, I thought he was going to jump onto it. Maybe he is. But that's one person you can reflect projectiles back to, that's for sure. And that's horrible on maps like Colosseum. Anyway, so let's go back to the build. Sorry, my bad. I played the game for a little bit. It's a bit difficult. Where are we going through here? So we're on Alchemy. So don't forget that when you apply protection, you are going to be indeed giving yourself some nice condition removal. So, it's not necessary potentially to go for these, but you obviously... you're still susceptible to conditions. You've got no condition removal, and you're in a fight, and you're low HP, there's a good chance you'll die, unless you can use a combination of skills to try and get yourself out. Things like regenerating mists with the third skill on engineer, obviously evading a little bit of damage, giving yourself some regeneration, a little tiny bit of healing at the start. Things like toss elixir U, which is going to give you super speed so you can get out of dodge, which is always useful, and other things like Thumper Turret, you know, CC and Elixir X and things to disengage as well, which is very important. But let's go through Alchemy very quickly as well. Lesser Elixir B, so when you are at 75% health threshold, you're going to use a Lesser Elixir B, so you're going to be able to get all the boons you see there, as well as an additional 2 stacks of might, which comes from HGH. Protection injection, gain protection when you are disabled, but you also get the condition removal, which comes out from anti-corrosion playing, because you're giving yourself protection. You're not giving it to allies, but you're giving yourself protection. And that has been proccing when I've seen it going off. Now, whether or not that's supposed to be the way it works, I don't know. But that's my assumption. It's just been working on me that way. It works on myself. I don't know why they still don't just put the wording in there, but it could, you know, extend the description a little bit longer. Let's Elixir C. Here you go. So Quaff and Elixir C, converting conditions into boons. So it's a lesser one, so it's 2. Obviously, it's a ton more if you're using Elixir C on your bar, on your utility bars. But extra condition removal is very, very good. But it's not just condition removal, it's condition removal converted to boons. So depending on what that condition is, you could get protection as well. Because there's no internal cooldown on this trait. It's just whenever you grant protection, you get condition removal. So if you get yourself protection from this conversion, you're going to get more condition removal. So awesome. Compounding chemicals, heal yourself when you grant yourself a boon, and gain increased concentration. Always very, very good as well. You're always gaining a ton of boons. Your concentration is going to go out the wazoo, baby. So stats-wise, I'm just having a look at the stats as well. Not too bad. Concentration 240. So that's going to be going up. Lovely. HGH, elixirs gain reduced recharge and increased durations and grant might. So extra 2 stacks of might when you use your elixirs. Recharge reduced by 20%, and also the duration is increased, which is going to extend the things like Elixir X and whatnot as well, and the effects of your tosses, and then your effects of your actual usage on your utility bar as well. Very, very important to have that in this build, because otherwise you won't get that 60-second cooldown on Elixir X, which is very, very useful and is a main feature of your build. Of course, things like that, not only advancing but also getting away. 5th skill is very, very good as well for just leaping and advancing. Interrupts from the 2nd and the 4th ability, as well as the 5th leap, jump, whatever you want, whatever it's called, ability, are very, very good for not only interrupting, for gap closing, for AoE interrupts as well, especially on that 5th skill. Very good versus things like mesmerism and whatnot as well, because when you come out for your auto attack, or your first attack, you can do a ton of damage. You can interrupt, they're stunned for a moment, and there is a couple of stuns there. The kick is a knock down, I think, as far as I can remember. I'll use it again in a sec so I can find out, although I'll probably get Tornado, knowing me. But either way, lots of interrupts. There's lots of interrupts in this build. You know, you do have Thunderclap, which is very, very awesome. AoE, and as well, it does a little bit of damage, enough to kill clones. And I'm actually having not too bad of a time versus Mirages, especially if I've got Elixir X up. And normally, the fight's gone for so long, if I survive their Condi burst, I've got Elixir X up again anyway. Let's see if we get it. No, we don't, unfortunately. But hey-ho. This is your big knockback. So when this comes up anyway, you want to get out as soon as you've used that. Unless you know that the enemy hasn't got a massive amount of damage, and their point is contested, but you haven't actually... you haven't actually been able to get the decap, so you can actually consistently knock back with Tornado, which is always quite nice, especially if they don't have any cooldowns or stability. You might be able to get a cheeky little decap, but it is a risk, because obviously you're able to take damage a lot easier in that situation in Tornado, but that's really up to you. You've got to judge the situation. It depends what level of gameplay you are as well, because most people will take advantage of that. Knockback is normally something I use, and then I come straight back out of it. Anyway, I'm going a little bit all over the place, so I do apologise for that. It's Saturday, it's my day off. Scrapper. Activate a function gyro to revive a fallen ally or finish a fallen enemy. Obviously, is very, very good. 20-second cooldown. Function gyro is still a little bit finicky. It's a little bit funny because it doesn't always revive. It doesn't always downstate when you would like it to. It's not because of the cooldown or anything as well. It's sometimes when you're reviving, you physically have to click on their bar or try and click on them on the screen. It won't always come up. Sometimes it does come up. It says gyro res or it says gyro downstate or whatever. Sometimes you don't want to use it in a situation as well. It's kind of like you press F and your gyro ends up going for the downstate as well. It's kind of the way it's built. So unfortunately, you just have to work around that sometimes and just do your best, you know. So I'll just go up to the bar more often than not, and I'll move around, just strafing around with my keyboard for a second. I'll click on them and I'll revive. But normally when I'm reviving, in much the same way that a Guardian, a Firebrand does it, because they might be using a res signet, I'll kind of run away and I'll pull the opponent with me because they're thinking, okay, they're going away, but I would have already clicked on my ally. The gyro already is on them, resing them. I'll pull the opponent away and I'll get that res more often than not. I'll pull one or two people away. I'll be able to survive while it gets the res, or I'll get it to halfway and I'll run in as well. So, you know, there's lots of different fun little tactics you can use with Scrapper. It is a fun class. You can get kills, you can revive, you can support, even with the amulet that I have, which is Demolisher there. Sorry, I just almost forgot that. Anyway, I love Function Gyro. It's fun, especially now. Perfectly weighted. So hammer skills deal increased damage, which you need because you haven't got a lot of, you know, where are we getting damage from? We're not getting through. This is buffing our damage. This is CC. This is our damage as well. And then you've got 5 hammer skills. You know, this is Guild Wars 2. We haven't got any kits here. We haven't got weapon swaps. So this is where a lot of your damage is coming from. It's coming from here and it's coming from here. Essentially, you've got about 11. You've got 10 skills, really, which is your damage. And then everything else is buffing your damage through elixirs. So you need to make sure when you're using those abilities that you're using them damn well. You know, if you're using Shock Shield, make sure that it's good for that block, or that you're getting that vulnerability, so you're not just randomly popping it off, which sometimes I can be a little bit guilty of. But yeah, play around with it, see how you do. Also, you gain stability as well. Ta-da! Evading in attack grants stability. Obviously, you can evade a little bit in the frames of rocket charge, which is always very, very awesome. Let me see what else. Going through here. Decisive Renown. So when you successfully revive an ally or finish an enemy, you grant barrier and great speed to nearby allies. 2,500 barrier there to 2,668 to be precise is very, very good, because if you haven't got any heal, you haven't got any HP after you've been really pummeled to the ground, you can come out of that fight, reposition quite quickly in 4 seconds with super speed, and you've got barrier as well, which is going to give you that, you know, extra little bit of survivability. I mean, it's good, right? Obviously, 240 radius. Mass momentum, gain power based on your toughness, and gain might while you have stability. So you get stability here from perfectly weighted, which is alright. You get stability from Toss Elixir B as well. Not too bad. And you do get stability when it comes to using your Elixir S as well. So X, sorry, as well. And that is rotating. So that's keeps going and it reapplies itself, you know, every so often, which is pretty good. So, and obviously you do gain power based on percentage of your toughness, which is why I do go for a toughness orientated amulet. So, you know, again, Demolishers or Paladins, pretty good. Then we've got Impact Savant, which barriers you receive are stronger and deal increased damage while you have a barrier. So this is very good again, after coming out of a res or a down state, to pop off from that successful down state or that successful res, and then go into a ton of damage, which is always nice and beneficial. And then the other way, you can get a barrier. You can get barrier with Shock Shield here as well, don't forget. So that is going to give you a nice little bit of barrier when you go into a fight. Maybe pop it off, get the vulnerability, get the barrier, do a little bit of extra damage. Boom. Then you've got adaptive barrier. Adaptive barrier. I guess it is in a way. Adaptive armor. So gain barrier when struck. Reduce incoming condition damage while you have barrier. So again, a very, very beneficial to have. A very, very beneficial thing to have. So this is where Sanctuary comes in again. On the 6th piece, where you gain a barrier with health equal to 20% of any heals you receive. So you are always reducing that condition damage. For some reason, though, I'm dying a lot quicker. It just seems to be the way it is. I don't know whether or not this is something consciously in my head, which I'm playing differently. I do seem to be just dying a lot quicker because, you know, I don't get the extra amount of protection because there is conditions, but there's also a lot of power in the meta, as whatever the meta is. I mean, the meta is, you know, a couple of teams playing on the top end in monthlies. There's nothing else conquest-wise going on other than just in the ATs during the day. I mean, there's a ranked meta. There's, like, you know, a meta for people who are duo queuing in the ranked queue. Then you've got 2v2s, which recently happened, and really that's still up in the air because I think we saw 2 Holosmiths that did very well. I saw Scrabber on a Holosmith. I saw Firebrand, obviously, in Scourge, defeated. We saw 2 Mirages. It's very up in the air, you know. You can get away with a lot of stuff in Guild Wars 2 PvP at the moment because the high-end competitiveness in this game doesn't really exist that much anymore. So you can have a lot more fun with it. It does mean that sometimes, unfortunately, there might be a little bit of trolling and griefing. But I don't know. This is just a PvP game. It's just the way it is. You kind of get used to that. But at the end of the day, you could go for Rune Sanctuary based off of just almost that trait alone because it is very, very useful. What else can you... The possibilities... you could go for Connect Stabilizers. It's going to give you stability. It's going to give you extra power. It's going to give you extra damage and whatnot as well. I don't know if it's worth it. You do gain might when you get that stability as well. So it could synergize here. But I do feel like the adaptive armor is pretty useful here. And it does reduce incoming condition damage as well, and that is 20%. That's big. Here you do get applied force, so gains quickness when you gain might above the threshold as well. So the stack threshold is 10. You do have a lot of might, but I feel like it's a little bit too high for this to be useful. And also you do get quickness from Elixir U, and you find that you actually do have quickness probably more often than you maybe need it, especially when you're traveling between points and whatnot. They did take it away from Toss Elixir U as well, so maybe that's something you want to go for. Other options here, if you take mass momentum away and put it on rapid regeneration, you get a little bit more sustainability. So if you do want to be more supportive, you can obviously go for that. It's perfectly fine, but you will lose some of your damage. This is the problem. And like I said before, where is your damage coming from? Elixir X is coming from your hammer skills. So, you know, it's quite important that you try and buff around the hammer. And I've never really played this combination of traits that much. Playing around, I've never really had success with it, and now I am. And it's been a very fun build to play. There's a lot of utility, there's a lot of CC, there's a lot of control, there's a lot of damage. And I'm having fun with it, you know. I mean, especially in Elixir X, like I said, you know, you can knock back with the second ability. There's a good interrupt on the fourth skill, and that CC as well. I mean, that knockdown is pretty damn nice. It's 2 seconds of a knockdown as well. So unless they've got a stun break, you know, they're down for 2 seconds and you're popping off your abilities. And you can combine that with things like, you know, your Moa transform. You know, you can combo up a lot of stuff. You know, you can CC again with Thunderclap and whatever else you need. I mean, I've got tons of... Look at that pressure as well, the hammer just on the... pardon me, on rocket charge. Really, really nice. There's some really, really great stuff that can come into this. You can really use choke points in maps as well. Things like, you know, using Thumper Turret to knock those opponents up. Really, really, really. It's just a fun build. I'm having a lot of fun with it, to be fair. See the barrier that you're getting there. Obviously the evade. You've got your projectile, your electro whirl, which will reflect projectiles. I'm going to stop talking about it because, you know, you want to go play it. But if you've enjoyed the build, if you've been playing something similar, there is a couple of ideas from a few other people who have been in the stream. So I would like to say thank you to them, specifically in their names. I cannot remember for the life of me, so I'm sorry about that. Things like one of those sigils, the 0.5 extra % of damage. But otherwise, yeah, it's been a fun video. There is a lot of ways that you can blast fields and whatnot, and I haven't explained every single facet of the build because there are things like combinations. You know, things like, you know, the Rumble has a 1.25 seconds of stability, but you're using that to break stun more often than not. And if you're in a desperation. A place of desperation, you can also use it to just blast a heal and give yourself some extra HP, or you can blast something like, you know, a smoke field or whatever, to give yourself stealth. So it's whether or not you choose to use it in that situation or not, and it is a big cooldown. So make sure this is very dependent on your judgment in terms of the situation you are in. You know, rezzing, downstating, whether or not an opponent has stability, whether or not an opponent has a block, different things like that, especially when you're CCing with Elixir X, because you can go into Elixir X and you might fail completely, which is what I do sometimes. I know it's unbelievable, but you need to make sure you're using these abilities correctly and at the right time, because otherwise you will probably find yourself down and out. Otherwise, I've been Jebro. Come and join us on twitch.tv/JebroUnity. Haven't done a build video for a while. I'm not sure how it went, but if you enjoyed it, chuck a like. If you didn't, I guess you can chuck a dislike as well. It's all good. I've been Jebro. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. We'll see how it goes. If you'd like a video about any other games or anything else, let me know. If you just want some more gameplay, maybe I'll chuck a little bit of that out as well. But thank you very much. It's been good to see you. It's been a while. I used to do a ton of build videos back in the day, but I'll see you soon. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. We do have a Patreon as well, which has tons of stuff. So if you can have videos made for yourself if you would like to. But yeah, go and check all the links in the description below. See you soon, peeps. And thanks for watching.